Hello, this is the 6P for today. Today basically we are doing about analysis. So I think team 4 did ask themselves what exactly is analysis. Okay, analysis is actually to help you make sense of information and data which you have gathered from your inquiry phase. Okay, in your inquiry phase, you will get information from the problem trigger, from your prior knowledge, and also through your research. So you want to make sense of this information. How are you going to make use of this information to answer your problem statement? Okay, do note that analysis is not just about breaking into subcomponents. What are the steps in an analysis? First, you must identify the purpose of analysis. Why is it important to identify the purpose? So that you will know, okay, what is your direction? What exactly are you looking for? Okay, so you have to be clear on that. Okay, for today, some of you have some challenges in identifying the purpose. And the second step would be to identify the major question. And this major question has to be related to the purpose. And the third step would be to identify the sub-questions to answer major questions. You all did pretty well in this part here in identifying sub-questions. Finding relevant data. Okay, some team were able to do that. Okay, in fact, I would say that most team are able to find relevant data to answer sub-questions, mostly from the problem trigger. There are some teams who went ahead to look at information from the resource given, or some even went to research on your own. That's good. Okay, the next step is the one that most of you are not too clear about. That is to examine the relationship between answers to sub-questions that help to answer the major question. Okay, on this part, I will elaborate a bit more. Okay, and the final part is to integrate all the sub-questions. That means you have to look from the relationship and from there come up with a solution. Okay, next step. Okay, this is a new situation for you to analyze. So take some time to look at this situation. Okay, the next part. Okay, ready to do an analysis on this scenario? Okay, first, what is the purpose of your analysis? Got it correct? Step 2, what is the next step? Correct. Identify the major question. So this is a possible major question. And let's identify some sub-questions to answer the major questions. What can we have here? Location of the poly. Okay, what are the transportation available to get there? What is the duration of travel? What are some of the courses that are offered at the poly? And how about the candidate's interest in the course? What is the career prospects? And what is the eligibility? How many points do you need in order to enter that course? And some people attend open house because of the goodie bag, so that could be a one possible factors. Okay, after you have done this, what do you do next? Okay, next you want to find the information to answer your sub-questions. And where can you get this information? Okay, you could get it from, for this case, last year's open house. Okay, and then from there you could actually use a bar chart, okay, to represent your data. Okay, next you want to examine the relationship. Okay, this one you have to listen very carefully because this is one area which I don't think any team did that today. Okay, so we have the factors again. Next, what do we do? Okay, you see that there's actually a link between the location of poly and the range of course. There's a relationship here, right? Okay, and you also see a relationship between the type of courses and the goodie bag. But you notice that the priority for the first link is much higher and the second one, then the second link. And there are also some other linkages, okay, because the convenience would actually affect the interest. You may be interested of course, but you have to take a long time to travel. Okay, you may not be so keen to go to that particular poly. And then you realize, hey, in some courses there may be internship, and that would actually increase the career prospect for that particular course. Okay, then you realize that if I'm staying so far away, if let's say I'm staying in Woodlands, is it worthwhile to travel to a poly that's in the east just to get the goodie bag? So these are the possible relationships that you could actually link together. After you have done that, okay, that's where you integrate all your relationships, consider all your relationship, and come up with a meaningful solution. Okay, so let's come to the problem of our day. What causes Manly to fall sick so often? This would be the major question. And these are the sub-question: his diet, his exercise, and his sleeping and waking up time. So for the first one, you could actually go and find what the type of food that he can eat, alright, the frequency and size of his meal, and you could also research from what is nutritional intake from food. You could also use the information that is given from the resource, and of course what is his water intake and what is the recommended water intake. Next would be his exercise. What kind of exercise is he engaging in? Is it just is there cardio, or is it just muscular? Same thing here. You could get what is the recommended exercise routine from either your research or from the worksheet, from the resource that's given the worksheet. And same thing also. Alright, then next step we will look at the relationship. You realize that amount of sleep and exercise may have a link, because when you do not have sufficient rest, you may not be able to exercise effectively. And diet and rest also can affect your health as well. So you see the relationship here. So again, we can, from examining the relationship, we realize that there may be multiple reasons that cause Manly to be frequently ill. Okay, so in order to accurately diagnose the cause, you have to break down the problems, okay, and study the data carefully and integrate this information. Okay, this is one area which I think the teams have to work on. Okay, so why do we need to learn to analyze? Okay, let's go through help you to make sense of information, because through your research you're going to get a lot of information. So you need to analyze, okay, which information is important and which information will help you to answer the problem. Okay, and sometimes you have got large chunk of information, or your problem could be like, they're so huge, so you need to break it down into smaller part to help you to formulate an effective solution. So this is today's learning objective. You must be able to understand and apply the analysis process. Okay, so you must know the 5 steps well. Okay, any questions? If there's any questions, please keep it in mind and let me know, and we'll discuss in our next lesson. Okay, that's all. I will upload this in the YouTube. I will just keep it for a couple of days, okay? And then after that, I'll delete that. See you next week. Bye.